We're back. Okay. Sorry. Let's let Instagram know that we are live. What's up? Yo, we're just getting started. Sorry if you tried to join that last one. I deleted it accidentally. Still learning how to do this whole live thing. We're going to wait a little bit. We're just going to get Instagram going and let people know we're live. Hi, this will be more fun in a minute, but let me know where you're coming from. We're just letting the Instagram algorithm know about this. If I can get a link. Oh, how y'all doing today? Biggest news here in Canada is that we just lost the hockey game in the Olympics. I wasn't watching. I have no way of watching the Olympics. San Diego, what up? Ooh, I'm actually San Diego. I have some questions for you. Don't leave yet. I have some questions. I'm supposed to be heading to San Diego in April, potentially. As it stands, I have canceled all of my US travel because the US is just a mess right now. And to be honest, as much as I adore the US, I'm not super stoked on what I'm seeing down there right now. What is the vibe like in San Diego right now for brown people, for Latino people? What's up with ICE presence there? What a way to start this. Let me know what you think. If you're not comfortable doing it here, find me on Instagram and let me know, because I'm really waffling about whether or not I should go to this event, because I've never been to San Diego and I've always wanted to go. I love California, families from California, but I just don't know how to feel about it. So if you have any thoughts, share them. I'd love to see that. Yeah, that'd be cool. I had some thoughts today. Basically, I kind of just wanted to talk through some of the YouTube videos I'm planning on and I'm working on, and hear your thoughts and see what people have to think about them all. So, first and foremost, a lot of this channel historically has been about gear and about the use of gear, and that's fine, that's cool, whatever. For me, the gear, probably like for you, is sort of like a means to an end. It's to help me get the shots I want to get the stuff I want to get. But a lot of time, it feels to me like people are super excited about certain brands that they feel really, really loyal to. And I'm going to assume that anyone who watches my stuff consistently is probably a Nikon shooter. Would that make sense? I'm not sure who's here, but if you're a Nikon shooter primarily, throw it in the comments. Let me know. The reason I bring that up is because I don't just shoot Nikon. If you watch the channel long enough, you'll know that like Fujifilm, Canon, Sony, Nikon, Lumix, they've all made appearances on the channel. And that's not because I'm just like trying to shoot random shit to see what works. It's largely because when I'm excited about a certain camera brand, a lot of times it has to do with the lenses that are available and lenses that I think I want to work with. And so right now I've been really enjoying shooting with Nikon, especially the ZF, because I can adapt all the really nice, like whether it's Voigtlander or Thypoc or those lenses. That's really cool. And I think the 1.8S primes from Nikon are really great, but I'm excited to explore some other optics, not so much the cameras, but the optics, like the lenses from some other brands that I haven't shot with in a bit. So one of those being Fujifilm. I haven't shot with Fuji in a little while now, and I'm really interested in some of the lenses again and like the setup of some of them. So the thought process being like, rather than picking a system for the bodies, picking a system for the lenses. How do you guys think about it? What are you shooting right now? Let me know in the comments. The three of you who are here. Sundays. I guess people don't come out on Sundays, huh? All that to say, I think shooting different brands is really, really helpful and really healthy. And a lot of times people feel some kind of way on YouTube. Let's see here. Nikon shooter, but I would love to try other cameras as well. Yeah, 100%. For me, obviously, I can justify spending some money on different cameras because, well, for a few reasons. One is that I use all of them for this YouTube channel, so I can make some money back off of shooting with them by, creating stuff. The thing is, ultimately, that's just a dumb justification. Just like if I were to say like, oh, well, I shoot, I need this camera to shoot this job. Chances are I could shoot the job on anything I have or an older camera. But it's more fun to pretend like it's for the other reason. I don't know. I think we can easily trick ourselves. Eric says, I've started to experiment with M mount as they're easy to adapt to ZF and they're so small. 100%. Yeah, what M mount adapter are you using? Let me know because I would really like to explore some M mount glass. There's obviously so much. A lot of it is really, really nice. Some of it's super expensive. Some of it's more affordable. But let me know which one you're using, Eric, because I'm pretty curious about that. Eric, I feel like I maybe saw you on Instagram a little while ago or something. I'm going to look you up. Let's look Eric up. Is that a weird thing to do? Eric Weir. Eric, what's your Instagram? Did I see you on Instagram or did I just see you post a comment? Hard to say. Nigel, what up? Yo, happy Sunday, Nigel. I want to shoot Nikon and Fuji more, but Lumix just makes the most sense for me right now. 100%. And see that's the right answer. Is like shoot what makes the most sense for you. Nigel, I think like if I were to think of what I know about what you shoot, I would probably say like in the Nikon ecosystem, obviously the ZR is cool, but like the file sizes are just insane. And right now, this is the biggest issue. Like if you're a video shooter and you want to jump into the ZR, you probably want to do it to be able to shoot Red RAW. The problem is that Red RAW is like crazy file sizes. And because of this whole AI boom right now, we're seeing like insane jumps in the price of memory. So if you want to buy more memory or more storage, it's costing like so much more than it used to. And so yeah, there's just nothing you can really do. Like you can't shoot effectively like a whole project on Red RAW unless you're willing to either do one of two things: dump that footage and get rid of it when you're done with it, instead of storing it somewhere, or I don't know, try and pay for cloud storage, which is still, it's not cheap, but it's getting cheaper. But I don't know. I think it's a pain. When it comes to Fuji, I don't know, like, Nigel, what would you want to shoot Fuji? Would you want to like check out some of the GFX stuff? Would that be interesting to you? Or would you want to, are you like, I think what's cool, like for you, Nigel, you're so used to manually focusing and like dealing with kind of trash autofocus because you've been doing it forever. So you have a skill set that a lot of people who are new don't have. And so you know how to navigate using manual focus. So I think Fuji would be really fun for you. You know, when I was shooting on the XH2S, that was dope. I loved the footage coming out of that. The only reason I shifted away is because I was shooting a ton of weddings and I found that like the low light performance on it was just not what I wanted when it came to those super dark scenes. So it made sense for me to explore other stuff. That's when I checked out Lumix actually, and I was shooting on the S5 IIX, which was great too. The problem with that being that I'm like mostly hybrid shooter, and the photo experience on that was really frustrating in a lot of ways. And that's what made me end up, I was shooting Canon for a while, but that's ultimately what made me shift to Nikon, because I think like something like the Nikon Z6 III with its partially stacked sensor is just so nice. It's such like great quality, but it's a really good compromise between photo and video, and I don't feel like they skimped a lot. The main issue if you're shooting video with Nikon is just you can't record to 2 card slots, and that makes no sense to me. I have heard from people within Nikon that they've said that like they've talked to Nikon Japan and been like, what is up? Why don't we have dual recording? And I guess the people in Japan have literally said, we don't think we need it. We don't think people want it. So they're just not doing it. I don't know. It seems crazy to me. Seems crazy. Eric, Eric, answer my question here. It says, I'm currently using a Rayqual M2X. It's rather expensive for a dumb adapter, but it's made to really high tolerances, allowing the M-mount lens to actually focus to infinity properly. Cool. Okay, Rayqual. I will check that out. I don't know that one at all, but I will check it out. I'm going to save that and write that down somewhere. Rayqual. And then we got Nigel here. Nigel saying, I feel like APS-C is a good compromise between micro four thirds and full frame in terms of size of body and lenses. Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that like micro four thirds bodies, a lot of the ones that seem really good for video aren't really like a compromise, or I should say like they don't really fulfill that idea of like small. The lenses though, that's the big thing. I feel like the lenses that you can use with micro four thirds are just like so much smaller. And that's really, really helpful. So I hear you on that. I wonder like, I haven't shot micro four thirds much. I had like an Olympus EM5, I think the original. I really liked it. It was super fun. Great photo camera, but that was kind of it. I think you're right though. APS-C is that compromise. And the reality is, unless you really need that shallower depth of field, I don't think you're gonna, I don't know. It's such a funny thing. Like most people aren't going to notice the difference between, f2 to f1.8 or whatever. I think the APS-C to full frame look is a thing to a degree, but I don't know, for most client projects, especially, I don't want to be at a super, super shallow depth of field because I don't want to end up not hitting focus properly, and I don't want to end up with something that feels too dreamy. So I tend to stop down anyway. So even if I am shooting full frame, I'm stopping down to 2.8. So if I can get an APS-C lens that's like an f1.8 or an f2, similar to shallow depth of field, nice light gathering, nice quality, it's smaller, it's cheaper. I think that that's the way to go. So I'm like exploring the Fuji system again, mostly for photo, because I want to have like a super like just fun experience for like street photography, which is something I'm trying to dive back into in the spring a lot more. So for that, I picked up I'm testing out, I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. I'm going to test out the XE5 along with that little Pancake 23mm and then the 35mm f2 Fujikron lens. I think Fujikron is not the actual name, but that's what people call them. I've owned that lens 3 times. I'm a sucker. Anyways, definitely looking forward to that. But there's lots of like, I think one of the reasons why I get so caught up on whether it's like Fuji or whether it's, the Nikon ZF or wanting to shoot on some Leica stuff is because I'm a bit of a sucker for experience, and I like things to feel, I don't know. I like the tactile feel of things. And because of that, some other, like we're shooting on the Z5 II right now. It's an excellent camera. It would be probably a superior street photography camera compared to the ZF, just because I could hold it all day and feel comfortable. But again, it's just like, I'm a sucker for that experience, and aesthetic is one thing, but I think just like the feel of it all. And so that's where I find myself wanting to jump into some of these other systems and explore some stuff and see how I feel. I like things to be small and not pocketable, because very few cameras are going to be pocketable, but I like things to be smaller, things to be a little bit easier to use. So that's my kind of take on it. The other thing too is that I think with a lot of the like higher end cameras, whether you're looking at like, I was shooting on the Z8 for a while, which I love. It's an excellent camera, but I think we can assume we need a certain level of quality that maybe we just don't need. I'll speak for myself as a photographer, a wedding photographer. What I am noticing in the wedding photography space and in portrait space and a lot of different stuff is that there's this huge shift, and I don't want to blame everything on AI, but there's a bit of a shift, I think, because of AI. I've noticed, okay, let me go back here. I am 35 years old. I was born in 1990, so I am very firmly in the middle of that millennial world. And I have noticed that on Instagram, when I see like Gen Z as we call it here, when I see Gen Z and when I see, I guess, Gen Alpha, I don't see any Gen Alpha on my feed because I don't know what Gen Alpha is, but they're far too young for me to be seeing them. I'm seeing people start to use Instagram the way we used it when it first started, which is like everything looks a little more raw and real. People are posting like actual moments. It's not like super highly curated anymore. It's just way more honest and way more like authentic. And I think that's interesting. The nice thing is that nobody's using the fucking terrible filters that we used to use. Anybody who had Instagram at the beginning, throw in the comments, like, did you have a go-to filter that you liked, that you used? I don't have the same Instagram I used to have, so I can't look at that, go way back. But like when you could only post from the app itself and take the photo from the app and then put on those, amazing looking filters. And we were just posting like real moments. People are doing the same now in that, like Gen Z is kind of doing that whole thing, which I think is cool. And what that means to me is that people are wanting to see like more authentic, real moments, even though they're very curated. I understand. People want to see something a little more raw and real feeling, at least, even if it's curated. So when I'm thinking about the wedding industry and I'm thinking about some of the shifts and the changes I'm seeing, there's like several things that I think are informing what people want weddings to look like. And I think there's a reason, like there's this shift towards film. There's this shift towards like flash, the direct flash, point and shoot stuff. All of that to me has to do with the reality that like highly curated, beautiful, perfect looking photos is not interesting to Gen Z. And so as we shift from like millennials getting married into Gen Z getting married, we're seeing a lot of shift in what people want out of their photography. And I think this goes across the board. I actually think this goes for advertising. I think this goes for portrait work. I think this goes for family shoots, everything. People want stuff that just feels more gritty and raw and real. I don't think there is much of a reason for us to assume that people want perfect photos anymore. Whereas if you were shooting weddings 10 years ago or something like that, that kind of was the case. There were a lot of people who wanted like super perfect, clean, light and airy, perfection out of their photography. That's not the case anymore. People want like very real moments, which I think is sick because that's what I like too. So because of that, when I'm looking at what I want to shoot with, I'm like less concerned about shooting with the super high end, ultra fast 1.2 lenses and the best of the best bodies, all that kind of stuff. I like the results they can get you because ultimately so much of the authentic, real stuff comes out of being in the right place at the right time. And then also, I think to a degree, how you choose to edit. So the gear working as well as possible is important for that, but I don't think you necessarily need to go to those like flagship models to do that. So all of that to say, it's making me want to shift towards just getting as many different opportunities to shoot authentic moments as possible. And I think you can do that more effectively when you have gear that is just faster and easier to use and maybe a bit smaller, a bit more agile, which is one of the reasons why the Z8, though I love it, felt a bit clunky to me. Let's see here. Eric, I also really like the tactile experience with cameras too. I don't think I would be really interested in Nikon's APS-C cameras, but I like Fuji's cameras. Fuji has prioritized the format and it shows. 100%. I think the thing about the Nikon APS-Cs is that there's kind of a problem with their APS-C lineup where there's like not a lot of lenses to support it that feel as awesome as the Fuji lineup does. And I would say that that is sort of the case to a certain degree for like Sony and definitely for Canon, where there's not that same feeling. Like Fuji has made Fuji feel like the artist's choice on a budget. Obviously, like Leica did that first, but Leica is not something that most people can afford or can justify, myself included, at this juncture. So because of that, I think Fuji has kind of won that battle. If Nikon were to put out a new like ZF-C Mark II and they put out a lineup of lenses to support that were very similar to the Fujikron lenses, where you have like a 16 or an 18, something like that, a 23, a 35, a 50, all in that f2 range, but they're metal and they're nice and they're solid and they match, they would win the day. With their updated autofocus, there's no reason why you would want to shift over to Nikon, except for, I guess, people talk about like the film recipes and stuff. But Nikon having some of their cooler recipes now when it comes to the imaging cloud, you can kind of get away with that. But yeah, if I'm going to shoot APS-C, I'm going to shoot Fuji probably, unless I really feel like I need better autofocus, which I don't know. I think for photography, at least, I'm not too worried about. Let's see here. CSC, what up? How's it going? Nice to see you. Also, if there's anyone here who has watched some of the videos in the past little while, you know that I've talked about some of the realities happening in my life with losing my mom. This happened a week ago, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who's messaged me or reached out or commented on some of the videos. To be totally honest with you, it's not easy for me to like respond to all those comments. I don't know what to say other than thank you and like I appreciate you, but I just don't know. I don't know how to interact with those comments super well. It's not that I don't like them and I don't appreciate them, and I'm really thankful for them, but like, you know, when there's like 40 or 50 comments about like saying like, hey, my condolences about your mom, or like, here's what I went through, they all mean so much to me. I just right now I'm not, it's not that I don't even know if it's like I'm not ready to respond to them, or I'm just sort of feeling like I need to let that simmer for a while. So please know that I see you, I appreciate you, and I thank you for that. A couple other things here. Eric, let's see what Eric has to say. I also love the film sims. I've started to shoot film too, and it's amazing to actually use some of the film the sims are based on, even though they don't make most anymore. Yeah, 100%. That's really fun. The like base built-in ones look really nice, and then obviously all the stuff you can do with Fuji when it comes to like building recipes. I have a bunch that I like. Some of them are meant to mimic certain film, like actual film stock. Some of them are more like, this is the look you tend to see out of this camera from a lot of people, stuff like that. So those are really fun. Shooting film. I think it can be hard to get your hands on a lot of like current, you know, film stock right now at a price that makes sense. But yeah, I haven't shot a ton. I used to shoot a lot of Fuji film, like film from Fujifilm, when I was in high school, because we had like a dark room and I just shot black and white. And so I shot a lot of Fuji black and white. The Acros was awesome and it was pretty affordable, so I shot that all the time. I haven't shot much of that lately. I think I have a couple rolls of it kicking around. I think I've shot like one roll of Superia in my life, and that's pretty much it. But I did just get this. This is cool. All right. I don't know if you guys have heard of Film Photography Project, but a friend of mine, Logan, he owns a really amazing coffee shop, co-owns it with his buddy Jordan. It's called Whoopsie Daisy, and they make amazing stuff. He gave me this. So this is this is from Film Photography Project. It's the Kodak 2254 super low speed 35 millimeter color film. It is an ISO 1.6, ISO 1.6, but it's a C41 process, which is cool. And yes, you heard that right. ISO 1.6, not 1600, ISO 1.6, which is super cool. It's an ultra low speed. I think I haven't really done much looking into this, but I think this is like the stuff they use for like in cinema for like title cards and stuff like that. Just super rad. I'm really excited to shoot this. It has to be obviously an ultra sunny day to be able to shoot ISO 1.6. My camera doesn't even go that low, so I think one of my film cameras, the EOS 1N, it will go down to ISO 6, which is obviously very low. And then I'm going to have to compensate by pushing up the EV by 2 stops, I think. If 1.6 to... That should be about right. that would be super cool to see. I'm excited to check this out and see what this does. I'm also excited for my buddy Panda Plush, who is the film developer here in town that I work with, for him to develop it. So we'll see. So thank you to Logan for this. If anybody has old film they don't want to shoot and they want to send it my way, I will shoot it and I will credit you. This is really fun. I'm excited about this. Let's see here. NH Photo asks, what are your thoughts on the Z50 Mark II? Yeah, good question. I think the form factor is awesome. I haven't shot on it, but I've held it. I've messed around with it a little bit, but I can't speak to the shooting experience. From what I know, like, it's a pretty old sensor that's in it, and I think from what I can tell from people who have shot with it, it feels like even when it came out, it felt kind of like long in the tooth. It felt kind of old. I think if you're shooting it just for photo, it's probably going to be awesome. It'd be really fun, super pocketable little camera. It basically is like the Z5 II, but tiny. Yeah, I think it'd be great. I probably wouldn't be super excited about video on it. And again, one of my issues is just that there's not a lot of like fun, interesting lenses for their APS-C lineup. Obviously, you can just take a full frame lens and put it on there, and it's sort of effectively the same thing, but not quite. You're using the center of an image circle, which maybe actually produces some sharper results in some ways. But anyways, yeah, I think that was a lateral move rather than a move forward for that line, where it was like, all right, it wasn't as bad as like when you see like Olympus, they put out a new camera, but it's literally the old camera just with a USB-C addition. Like, it's not that bad when it comes to being like a lateral move, but it felt kind of like that to me. Very similar. So to me, the Z50 Mark II is good, but I would be more interested in seeing what they do with their APS-C lineup in the next little while before I invest into it, because they did just put out a couple of new lenses for it recently. There's like a zoom lens and I think like a small prime as well. But again, I just don't see them investing super heavily into their APS-C lineup. And so I don't know, unless you really want the size, I just feel like the Z5 II is just like, it outperforms every camera at its price. And that's what I would go with. Unless you really want that size. So that's my take. Did I have anything else written down here before we wrap up? Is there anything else? I was going to talk about some of the stuff I got to make coming up. So tonight I'm going to work on a video. I got a couple of new lights sent to me that I'm making a video about. So if you see a video come out in the next few days about a certain new light from Zhiyun, yeah, that's a thing. I will be completely transparent. That is a video that I'm making. They're paying me to make it. I think they're great lights. Genuinely, honestly, I think they're great lights. They're small, little 40-watt things that I think are cool. You're going to see them come out soon. And the plan for those is actually, I'm going to do like kind of like a product photography shoot. So I'm going to check out a antique store this afternoon, and I'm going to pick up some old, small little things, like maybe like some old, whether it's like watches or pieces of jewelry or stuff like that. Just trinkets, and I'm going to make like kind of like a moody photo kind of setup, and I'm going to use those lights to create that. And then probably some video clips with it as well. So that'll be cool. Beyond that, I'm like kind of looking around at things I need to make stuff about. So I'm probably going to talk about the Voigtlander 40mm f1.2 just to see, what people think of that, because obviously, like, I've talked a lot about the Thypok lenses, and I think those are amazing. The Voigtlander I really like too. I kind of like the rendering on the Thypok better personally, but I like having the contact points on the Thypok, which makes it a lot easier for me to be able to actually, confirm focus and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of an up in the air thing, but that's something I want to talk about. And then beyond that, I am really looking forward to talking about less gear and just making interesting stuff. So I'm doing a lighting and camera test coming up this week for a shoot that I have in March. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of portraits and working through some new backdrops for that and a whole bunch of different stuff. And I'm going to document all that too. Just do some like behind the scenes kind of stuff, which I think will be cool. And then I kind of want to know what people want to see. You know, the whole goal for me over this next year is to really expand into just doing more interesting, fun stuff and less gear. So I'm very curious as to what people actually want out of the channel. You know, a big thing that I've been trying to emphasize with the last few videos is just like trying to get this narrative shift away from just talking about cameras and gear and into more photography and into more just stuff that I'm interested in. And I hope people want to come along with that. Oh, sick. Adam, what up? Glad you made it. We've done a few of these, you haven't been able to make any of them, so this is sick. Good to see you, dude. NH Photo, would love to see some of your street photography. Yeah, dude. To be honest, it's not something I've put a lot of time into over this past couple of years. I moved into like the middle of nowhere, so I'm not downtown Toronto anymore very often. Especially now I've got a newborn, and that means I'm there even less. But I am going to be there basically every 2 to 3 weeks now moving forward for some work stuff and some projects. And so because of that, it gives me the opportunity to do some street photography there. So street photography is kind of it's sort of how I started. Like when I first picked up a camera, I bought a Minolta X370. And that camera, how old was I? I was 14. And I was going around taking photos in my hometown all the time. I didn't know anything about photography. I was just really interested in it and curious. I didn't know like a single name of a photographer except for maybe like Annie Leibovitz. So for me, I was just doing what felt interesting. And when I look back at some of those photos, very clearly there was a bent towards street photography and like documenting people in their day and experiences that I was seeing around me. And so that is sort of how I started. And then I kind of got away from that, stopped shooting for a while. From there, when I got back into photography, street photography is definitely how I started it all. So street photography was like, I was living in Toronto. I think at the time I had, I don't know, is it the XT2? Maybe the XT2 from Fuji, or XE2 maybe, something like that. That was cool. That was a really fun camera. And basically I just went out every single day and I was shooting every day. I had time. I was in between projects and I was just like shooting constantly. And that was really fun. And that kind of got me back into the swing of things of shooting every day. So street photography was, I would say still, street photography is very informative of how I approach weddings. I like being in the moment at weddings and I like being in the moment in street photography, but I also really like looking for like little experiences that people are having and trying to bring those to light. And I think in a wedding that can be really cool because you get the opportunity to show people something that they just maybe missed about their day, and that's sick. All right. Adam said, 2 comments here from Adam. He said, I'd love to see more of the walk and talk videos. I loved those. 100%. Adam, you live not far from me. You know how cold and snowy it's been. So as soon as it warms up, that is the plan. It's even feeling a little warmer today, which is great. So we're starting to get to a point where we can do that. He also said a 10K AMA. I'd love to. We got to get to 10K. It might be a little while before we get there. Yeah, especially with the shift in what I want to do with the channel. It might take a little time, but we'll do a 10K AMA. We'll do it. I promise. Help me get to 10K, y'all. I assume everyone here is probably subscribed because there's only a few of you. CSC Photo. My first camera was the X570. Memories. Yeah, man. I love that. I actually have, I have 3 film cameras right now that I shoot with. And one of them is the Minolta X700, which is obviously just like a later version. I have a little bit of a problem with that one where the mirror doesn't always flip up properly. And then I have to like burn a shot to make it flip up properly. But hey, it's still a super, super fun camera. And and it's like fully. Also really like the Minolta lenses, the small ones, the 28 mil f 2.8 I think it is, and the 50 mil f2 and 50 mil f1.7 are all really fun lenses. Yeah, I've actually been thinking about getting a adapter so I can use some of those lenses on the Nikon stuff because they're just really fun. They're really nice lenses, and I like the way that they render things. So that probably should happen soon. Adapters are cheap, relatively, especially like dumb adapters. They're usually like what, 50, $60, which is an investment, but it's obviously opening up a whole bunch of options when it comes to lenses. So I think that'd be cool. Sweet. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'm gonna call it here. So unless there's anything else, put it in the comments if there's anything else you want to kind of rap about right now. And I hope everybody's doing great. It's what, 4 days into Ramadan, so I'm fasting. I'm not doing a pure fast, as you've seen me drinking water, but I am abstaining from food. I just like to explore different things like this, and I've done Ramadan with some friends who are Muslim in the past, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really cool. So that's something I'm doing. So if I seem a little low energy, it's because I find these next couple days are the ones that are actually the hardest, especially if you don't plan appropriately, you don't wake up early enough to eat, which I didn't, or if you don't eat enough the day before, you get a little tired. And that's kind of where we're at. So thank you for coming along, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay. Peace.